Star Trek Picard has beamed down along with Amazon Prime Video to CCXp, an event located in Brazil. The exhibition and panel gave us more details about the show, so let's go over them and see if we add to what we already know about the upcoming series.
Engage.
Hey everyone, my name is Captain Jack and welcome to Trek Central. This weekend, Amazon Prime Video, who is the international distributor for the upcoming Star Trek Picard series, has beamed down to Comic-Con Experience 2019, or known easier as CCXp. The event is located in Brazil and has seen Amazon roll out an interesting exhibit for Star Trek Picard, as well as some of the cast of the show, including Jonathan Del Arco, who plays Hugh the Borg. Let's warp in and check out all the details. Okay, so first things first, before we dive into the short panel for Star Trek Picard, I wanted to talk about the event exhibition. Visitors to the event can step inside a very large Borg cube. Inside, guests can find a selection of costumes from the show, of which I'll talk about in a moment. First, the inside of the cube exhibit contains a window in what appears to be the inner workings of the Borg cube. Inside, or rather through this window thing, we can see a Romulan type of ship landed on a platform. A few images are on screen now so you can see it for yourselves. Now some articles are making note that this ship seen through the cube's window could be the Las Serenas, the ship Picard and his crew were used to transport around in Star Trek Picard. Personally, I'm not so sure of this, however. From what we've seen so far of the ship, admittedly very little, the profile does not match up. I'm inclined to think this is just a Romulan or rather a Tal Shiar shuttle which is messing around with a Borg cube. We already know Romulans and Tal Shiar are up to something, so Building what we already know about the series, the Borg are involved in some way, and it seems like Romulans, or more specifically the Tal Shiar agency, are messing around with the Borg technology and experimenting on the subjects. The fact Amazon Prime make a big thing out of this for Star Trek Picard is very interesting, and I have to congratulate them on what is a really cool exhibit for the event. Honestly, Amazon, when are you going to bring something like this over to the UK? I want to step into it for myself, as I'm sure many of you do as well. Let's quickly talk about the costumes that were shown off inside this cube exhibition. The first is the new leather jacket designed by costume designer Christine Brazilian Clark. The black next to it simply describes what we already know about the series, so I have to put the text on screen for yourselves to read. Interesting to note is there's no mention of the symbol on Picard's jacket, but we kind of already know a little bit about that. Now the next costume on display is Dahj, aka the mysterious woman who seeks out Jean-Luc Picard in the series. Nothing massive stands out about this costume, and the text makes no indication of anything to give away more of her backstory. So for now, she remains just as mysterious as when I started this sentence. Finally, for the third costume, we get a nice close look at Seven of Nine's outfit for the show. You can see the costume on screen, and the text panel does hint at something, so let me read the last bit to you. Returning from the Delta Quadrant and freeing from a collective over 20 years ago, Seven continues to view Starfleet from a different perspective as she crosses paths with Jean-Luc Picard. I find it interesting that 7 of 9 views Starfleet from a different POV. Then again, that could be expected given her unique life experience. But also, perhaps there's something going on between her return to the Alpha Quadrant and her turning up in the new series. Thanks to Trek Brasilis, who have been doing some excellent coverage of the CCXp event, let's talk about the panel with the Star Trek Picard cast who have been attending the show. The panel featured of the event included some of the Star Trek Picard cast, including Isa Briones, who plays Dahj, Jonathan Del Arco, who reprises his role as Hugh the Borg drone, as well as Santiago Cabrera, who is playing Chris Rios, and finally Michelle Hurd, who is playing Raffi Musica. Recently we learned more about Michelle Hurd's character of Raffi Musica in a brand new Star Trek Picard comic named Countdown. Please find that video in the top right or link below in the video description if you wish to learn more. We did not learn more about her character at this panel, apart from what's been already emphasised that she has a previous relationship with Picard, and it somehow went sour with her not fully trusting him anymore. This is what it seems like. Now going into this panel, I honestly did not expect to learn massive amounts of information, if not anything at all. Simply put, we've had the big events like San Diego and New York Comic Con. Now these events like CCXp are just here to continue the marketing trend as we head towards launch of the show. Star Trek Picard is less than 50 days away. You can follow us on Twitter to keep up to date with a countdown for the show. Now Patrick Stewart was not at the event but did send a little video message informing fans that he was delighted to return to the Star Trek universe as Jean-Luc Picard and continue his character's story. One funny thing we did learn is that Santiago Cabrera binged a marathon of Star Trek episodes when he learned that he'd received the role. Hopefully he's on board with the story as much as the Star Trek fans are, I really hope so. Now Santiago did quickly talk about his character, specifically why his character resents Jean-Luc Picard. Now this would be because Picard represents the best of Starfleet, and Chris Rios, who Santiago says no longer wants anything to do with the organisation that is Starfleet. The panel host did ask that if Starfleet has changed, to which Santiago gives a slightly cryptic answer. Translating the quote, he says the following: "If you look at our institutions for the past 20 years, they've changed. This series will reflect that." Now this does echo something we've speculated but also heard a little bit about before. Has Starfleet changed for the worse in the last 20 years since Star Trek Nemesis? In the trailer, we see Jean-Luc Picard, former Admiral, asking Starfleet for help with Dahj, but they turn him down and basically push him away, something you typically would not do to one of your best and most highly decorated former officers. If Starfleet, and by extension the Federation, has changed for the worse, it presents an interesting setting for the series of Star Trek Picard, and also the other characters we know and love that are living in this time frame. I have a feeling we'll dive into this a bit more later down the road, but feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, Jonathan Del Arco has made several comments before in previous interviews and panels on how the Borg have changed since we last saw them, as well as his character of Hugh. Today he made similar comments again, but specifically said that Hugh thinks that Picard needs his help, and since he was saved by Picard before, he can help him out. Del Arco also speaks about the Borg cube and mentions that he is in it. Interesting, we obviously would connect Hugh, a former Borg drone, to a big ominous Borg cube floating around. I did not expect him to be in the cube, however. Perhaps he's being experimented on or something. I imagine if this is the same cube the Expedition Stand Amazon is trying to showcase. Isobrinos did comment about her character's relationship with Nak, who is played by Harry Treadaway. She was rather vague in order to not give away any information, but mentions something that we already know, that he is a Romulan, followed by the fact there is a lot of secrecy involved. Speculation for the moment, I wonder if Narek is involved with the Tal Shiar, aka the Romulan Intelligence Agency. Now that does wrap up anything major we learned from a panel. Most of the information as expected is what we knew before. However, it's always good to keep up to date with these panels and cast appearances, as sometimes details slip out and you do learn little extra tidbits of information. That does indeed wrap up our coverage of CCXp 2019. If any further information comes out, then you can catch it right away via our social media channels such as Twitter and Facebook. Find them linked below. If you want to keep up to date with the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to subscribe to Trek Central here on YouTube. You can also follow us on social media, visit our website, or join our brand new community Discord server. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.